Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In our previous session, we discussed about the basic definition of medical coding. We discussed the process like which process is known as medical coding, right? In this session, we are going to discuss about few more things which is related to roles and responsibilities that comes during the process of medical coding. Okay, we'll understand it with the help of one flowchart. I will show you one flowchart, and then we will discuss like how the roles and responsibilities are taken care of during the process of medical coding. Okay, so for that I will take you to the next slide, and here you will see that there are a couple of blocks I have designed in this flowchart, and we will discuss one by one. Before we start discussing on this, let me tell you one thing, that these processes are totally dependent on the doctors, or you can say on the medical department as well, like how they are interacting with the customer. Most of the time, insurance agent worked as a mediator in between the doctor and the entire team, like coder, biller, and the client as well, right? But overall we are going to discuss about overall structure, like how the flow is proceed during this process. So this thing we are going to discuss in this session. Okay, so these things totally depend on the requirement as well as the decision or the mutual agreement performed between the insurance agent, client, and the doctors. Okay, but the main thing is that how the things are going during this process. This thing we are going to discuss with this flow chart. Okay, so let's start. Just assume there is one patient who visited doctor in order to consult regarding their diseases. Okay, so what doctor will do? So first responsibility is of doctor. So here it is noted down. Physician will document the diagnosis and treatment. So first thing, what doctor will do, he will examine the patient and then prepare one diagnosis document. The diagnosis document contains all the information regarding the patient disease, and he might ask a patient to go and fetch some kind of reports, like a pathology report or maybe some other reports. Okay, so it is totally dependent on the requirement of the disease or requirement of the patient. Okay, so this thing totally depend on patient. Now once doctor has prepared the diagnosis and treatment document, then that document will be provided to coder. Now here again I will tell you that this thing is totally dependent on the mutual agreement performed between the thing. In some cases, doctor provide all the medical related documents to insurance agent, and then insurance agent provide the documents to coder. Okay, but the flow is like, why I have designed this flow in this way, because overall the document is provided to coder, which is prepared by doctor. Okay, so what medical coder will do, he will review the each note and then translate it into the medical codes. So uh, whatever the document we have received from the doctor, medical coder will review each and every note of it. Okay, because it's coder responsibility to understand the requirement properly and then perform the mapping between the medical document and the medical codes. Now what is medical codes? Medical codes is nothing but a alphanumeric codes which is based on some standards. In our previous session also we discussed that there are some standards, right? In details we will discuss in the upcoming session, but for now you can just understand, like, we have some standard on the basis of which we perform the medical coding. So second responsibility is for coder, and his responsibility is to understand the requirement, to understand the document which is provided by doctor, and then that document will be he will transform that medical document into the medical codes. Once it is done, he will provide all the required details to biller. Now what biller will do? Biller makes sure that all the claim information is correct, including the medical codes, because at the end biller has to provide all the information to insurance agent who will process the payment process, right? So it is biller responsibility to check all the claim information thoroughly, okay, which also includes medical codes. If there is any issue with medical codes or maybe any concern is there, so he can directly reach out either to coder or the doctor directly. Not uh, as I told you, if insurance agent is working as a mediator, then he will perform his role, right, of mediator. Let's say if there is something wrong with the code, so he can reach out to insurance agent, then insurance agent will reach out to coder and vice versa. Okay, so this thing is but we are discussing only about the flow. Document is prepared by doctor, then it is reviewed by coder, then it is provided to biller. Now it's biller responsibility to make sure that all the information, claim information, is correct, because on the basis of that information only we are going to process the payment. Okay, so he will check all the medical codes and all the information provided by medical coder. Then that information is provided to insurance agent. What insurance agent will do? He will receive the claims provided by biller and process it for payment. Okay, so during the payment process, like post payment process, biller or coders are involved or informed in case of any concern, because during the process client will check like whether everything is as per his plan or not. If it is not, then he might raise some queries for biller or coder or maybe for the doctor as well. Okay, so if he wants to convey anything, then he will reach out to insurance agent and then he can directly reach out to the required person. Okay, generally the flow is like this. You can see the arrows, but in any case they can reach out to each other. Okay, if during the payment process if there is something wrong, he can reach out to insurance agent, then insurance agent can reach out to coder or biller or doctor as per the requirement. Okay, and then once everything is finalized, then he will process the payment, and also like if there is any issue, they can simply reach out to coder or biller as per the requirement, and they can take the corrective measures. So this is how the flow works. Now if you compare this thing with RCM, if you are aware of RCM, although we have not covered it yet, but RCM is a complete cycle. Okay, it's just a part, or you can say it's a bit of that process. Okay, this is not the complete cycle, because there are many other process which is included during this entire process of medical coding. There are multiple steps that is carried forward during this process. Okay, but to make it simple for all the viewers, what I have decided to firstly show you the categorize information, and then maybe as per the requirement we will proceed with the detailed description. But the thing is that we want to clear all the concept at the initial level with some basic examples. So that's why I have designed this flow, and it will provide you all the information regarding the process. All right, so this is the process. Now what we will do, we will see some details about these process in a brief manner. So let's see the next slide. If you check these point, and if you are aware of RCM thing, then you may relate it with RCM, because most of the points are same, right? But this is not the complete thing, we are just discussing it from the top of the head, right? So you can see the first point is patient encounter. What is written here? The patient visits a doctor for medical service. During the encounter, the doctor diagnoses the patient condition, perform procedures, and document all relevant information. As we saw, right? In this, doctor will examine the patient condition and perform procedures and document all the relevant information. Then documentation by doctors. Although we can merge these 2 points, but just to show you this, the doctor records details of patient visit, included, including diagnosis and procedures in the patient medical record. So he will document all this thing into patient medical record. Then coding by coders. Medical coders who are trained professionals review the documentation provided by doctor. As I told you, coders are the one who reviewed the information provided by the doctor. They assign appropriate ICD code. This is one of the standard ICD codes for diagnosis and CPT code for procedures. So there are two things, diagnosis and procedures. So for diagnosis we will refer the ICD, and for procedure we will refer the CPT based on the standardized codes set. Okay. Then we have insurance verification by coders. Coders may also verify the patient insurance coverage and ensure that all the selected codes comply with the requirement of the patient insurance plan, because everything is dependent on the patient insurance plan. So it's the responsibility of coder to match everything and just to make sure that everything is complying with the requirement of the patient plan. All right, let's see the next points. Next point is claim submission. The biller submits the healthcare claim to the patient insurance company if he is interacted through patient insurance company. Most of the time, patient insurance company is working as a mediator. So the biller submit the healthcare claim to the patient insurance company, providing all the necessary documentation and codes. Then verification and payment is processed. During this process, post verification payment is processed, and in case of any concern, biller or coders are included for justification, as I discussed. Right, we discussed already this thing, that if required they can reach out to either the biller or the coder in order to get some justification. So these are the some basic steps, you can say, or rules and responsibility that is performed during the medical coding process. Okay, I hope this thing is clear to all of you. In the upcoming session we will proceed with some other basic things. So I hope today's session is useful for you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.